You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Salam. My name is Sheikh Abu Hakim Abdullah, President Chairman of Al-Masjid Sharia Law, a non-profit religious organization operating in the state of Rhode Island, USA. I'm going to talk to you now about what we're supposed to do with Islam. How are we supposed to live it? I always use that phrase that when a problem comes about and that we create through our own actions and deeds, I say one of the reasons is that we're not living Islam. We're not fully putting our lives in Islam. We got our lives split up between our desires, our wants, which is a desire, and all the other things, our so-called earthly needs and all that, which is to satisfy our desires, the majority of it. So I'm going to talk to you about that. One of the things that Allah says, I bought for you this life for a promise of the hereafter. That's part of the contract with Allah. He brought from us this life for a promise of the hereafter. What does that mean? That can we make decisions about our own life? Well, not really. If you understand what somebody brought to your life, they brought your academics, your social life, and everything else. You belong to them. You can't go anywhere without asking their permission. You can't do anything without them letting them know first. And all the things that you must do are mostly for the person or thing that owns your life. Such as a slave. A slave doesn't have any life of his own. He belongs to his master. His whole function is for his master. Everything is for his master. He has nothing of his own. Everything is for his master. This is the slave's existence. Now, what do we mean by it? What do we do with that? Do we go ahead and do our own thing, or we do a Allah's thing? Well, we're supposed to do a Allah's thing. We're supposed to constantly work for Allah. Everything we do is supposed to be for the Islam first. But we put our desires into our existence. The majority of professional people, such as doctors, lawyers, these people like that, they have chose a profession. And the profession takes over half of their lifespan. A person that owns a factory just to make money, that person put in 14, 15 hours of work sometimes. A person that drives a bus put in 8, 9 hours to drive the bus. And his whole day is spent on trying to be safe, keep everybody else safe on the bus, drive safely. A dentist. He turns around, he helps people with bad teeth. But at the same time, he's put dentistry, and it's a profession. So our lifespan is supposed to be split up between Islam and our families. And our jobs to make money, to feed ourselves and clothe ourselves. But that, we must turn around and get the job. So when we pick a job, we don't pick a job just to make money. We pick something we want to do. Now there goes the desire coming in. We want to be a doctor. We want to be a lawyer. We want to be a pilot. We want to be an Indian chief. We want to be all these different things. That's desires now. So by picking these desires, we also pick something that's going to take 17 hours or 9 hours of our day. Our whole day is going to be geared to make money for the person we're doing it for. If we got our own practice, a doctor with our own practice, the whole day is spent getting everybody well or making money as a doctor. Treating people for sicknesses as a doctor. We do that constantly all day long. Now, we make a prayer before the sun comes up. We pray at noon. We also pray in the afternoon. We pray Maghrib, prayer when the sun goes down. And we pray the last prayer at 12 o'clock, before 12 o'clock when we go to bed. Now, none of them take an hour to do. Not one of them take a whole hour to do. It's minutes. It's minutes that you put in doing it. If you go to the mosque, it's maybe half an hour or minutes you put in to get to the mosque. You put more time in trying to get to the mosque to make a congregational prayer than prayer itself. And you spend more time there, and you spend time there with the brothers talking and whatnot. And then you're back on your way back home. But in the daytime, you got a job to go back to it. So if you're making near a mosque near your job, and you're in a country where it has not an Islamic country, but an old regular country, like the United States, Germany, France, other places, you got a mosque not too far away from your job. Some of them are a distance from your job, though, but it's a distance you can get to. So if you're in an Islamic country, the prayer is done inside of the job, especially because the whole job stops at prayer time, and everybody goes to a congregational prayer. Those that are close to, if it's close to a mosque, some of you would do it inside the office, in the hallway together. Some of you got a little building next door where you can do it together again. So the prayer's 15 minutes, bang, you're back to work. Or you go to the mosque down that's not too far away, and you're back to work in 20 minutes. But we spend more time in a place like the United States, democratic countries, or socialistic countries, Christian countries, where you don't have a mosque that close by. A lot of times you don't make noon prayer. You're busy working. And if you find a place to make it outside, you're still working around the job. You're still around the job. So you spend 5 minutes making a prayer, and you spend 6, 8, 9, 10, 17 hours making money for somebody else, working. And in that work, it's not a law, it's not vis-a-vis a law you're working. It's for money you're working. It's not a laws thing you're working for. It's for money you're making. It's owned by a private person. He's not Muslim, and he owns this property, he owns this job, and you're making money for him. You're working for him at $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $100,000 a year. and you're working for him. And he wants you to work for him from 9 to 12, from 1 to 5. And some jobs are different. The hours are more. And he wants you to work for that. Now you're doing that work and doing that time. Out of that time there you pay 2 times. And each time you pay is about 5 minutes. If you got an office job, you can pay in the back of the office or in the hallway by yourself. If you're not working in the office, you're working out in the street, you can pay it around the corner by yourself. Those are merchants and whatnot, they can pay. They can close down the store and pay outside. But I'm trying to say that half your time, more than half your day, is spent earning money for somebody else. In a country like the United States, Great Britain, France, Germany, Russia, all these other countries, you're working support for everybody else. You're working for everyone. So where is the law's work come in? How does the law's work come in when the desires that you pick to be employed in have put you in a position to work more than you serve a law? How do you serve a law? How do you live your Islam if you're working all day long, earning money for someone that's riding around a $10 million boat, or airplane, doing what they want to do? How do you turn around and make and do a law's work doing that? So this is why I say we're not living Islamically, because our whole day is spent, mostly half of our day is spent solving other people's needs, serving other people's needs. The work that we do is serving other people's needs. If you're a doctor, we in the hospital saving people that violated laws. In the hospital, you got people that come in by shooting somebody and get shot, and you save them. You save the violators of the laws of the land, a lot of the people that you save. You save people that don't care about God at all. You've got people that speak blasphemy, and you're serving them. And look at what you're doing. So this is why Allah says, when the desire is into the hearts of the believer, so does the devil. Look at, we opened up a grocery store. We got all the stuff in the grocery store that's not non-Islamic. We got all the stuff in the grocery store, and half of it, more than half of it, is non-Islamic. Half of the food in the grocery store we not supposed to even touch. It's got pork in it, got killed chicken in it, got things that wasn't sacrificed in the law's name in it. We got a lot of things that we ain't supposed to touch. But yet we working in there. We selling stuff that shouldn't be sold by Muslims. We got lottery tickets. We got reefer pipes, coke pipes, hard rock pipes. We got all these different pipes going around in there. And we know what they are. And we selling them. And now today they turn around and legalize reefer. Reefer to us and marijuana to us is still illegal. I don't care what the state pass or whatnot, the government can pass it, the state can pass it, it's still illegal for us. Any intoxicant that controls our mind and whatnot takes us out of the norm is illegal for us. Marijuana is illegal for us. Hashish is illegal for us. Cocaine, smoke cocaine is illegal for us. Using the arm is illegal for us. Horse is illegal for us. All these things are illegal for us. Now, the United States, Great Britain, all them could pass laws to let people smoke them and whatnot, but they're still illegal for us. Because it's intoxicating. So this is the kind of deal we're in. So how do we become the slaves of the law? If all the things that we're doing, it becomes of our own decision making. Our own decision making on products we be doing, things we be doing. And then you come home you get home after walking around and talking and whatnot. You get home, it's 7 o'clock in the evening. You come in, you're tired, you eat some supper, you say hello to your kids, you gossip a little while, and then you're back in the bed, getting ready for the next day. Your wife is still up because that's a routine. But you got back in the bed and the house is quiet because you're sleeping. So what time do you give your family? If the law say half your day is for your family, what time do you give your family? What time do you give the family? The family's lucky if it gets 2 hours from you, 3 hours from you during the week. Because you're steady going back and forth. You're steady putting in all this time for the job. You're steady doing all these things. And you don't have no time to get to your family, Islamically or nothing else. Your family is off doing their own thing. Your kid is up doing the homework for school. She or he is doing the homework. Then they got the boob tube on. They might be looking at something in the television or the computer. They spend very little time studying anything except the schoolwork. Let me show you how messed up this thing is. There was a Muslim one time that was being interviewed by a newspaper reporter. His name was, oh man, what was his name? Richard D. Jardine. And he asked the brother one time, I won't name the brother because then it'd be something different. But he asked the brother one time, he says, how's your family? He says, all right. He said, what do your family do when it's Ramadan? He says, well, my son goes to Brown University, and he's on the rowing team. And because he's on the rowing team, I don't let him, he doesn't function Ramadan because he's on the rowing team and must do his schoolwork. Did you hear what I just said? He's on the rowing team, so he can't do his schoolwork. He can't do his Ramadan. He can't fast, which is an order during the month of Ramadan. He must fast. He can't do that because he's on the rowing team. The rowing team is not something spiritual. It's not something that he really needs to do. The rowing team is extracurricular activities. He doesn't need to do that. That's something he wants to do. He wants to play sports. He wants to be involved in playing the basketball, playing hockey, playing all the sports. Some of them, some sports are so great that this is how they go through school. They get scholarships to play sports, football, basketball, some hockey, and some baseball. These are heavy sports. So they give them scholarships to do this. But some of them don't need the scholarships to do that. And they want to just do that anyway. So this is where the desire is coming again. When the desire is into the hearts of the believer, so does the devil. There's the devil again. So I'm talking to you Muslims about this. We must begin to live our Islam. We must begin to build in our Islam, our home, our Islamic world. We must make our Islamic world compatible with everything else. We must turn around and have schools, have jobs. We must make planes, boats, farm, and all these other things to do in order to have our own world. We must make clothes, sell clothes. And we must have our own restaurants and butchers and all this kind of stuff for ourselves. And that's not happening. We're so busy trying to build up other people's worlds that we're not building our own. We're not building our own world. We're so busy trying to make it easier for the non-believer in their world and not filling our own world. We work in a hospital that has patients. At least 85% of the patients come in the hospital today, or maybe more than that, are non-Islamic, non-Muslims. And we're out there trying to save their lives. We work in a gun store. We're making guns, bombs and other stuff. And 95% of them bombs and stuff is not for Muslims. It's for non-believers. But that's what we're doing. Spending time trying to make the world a safer place for non-believers. Spending time trying to make the world a better place for people to rob people. Because some of them people that's using that stuff are sticking people up, robbing people, shooting them. So we got to try to get ourselves together and make our own, do our own thing. We got to try to live in the world, in a country like this, at the same time living independent in the country we live in for our own needs. Like I say in mostly all my programs, I say the same thing sometimes. One of them is that the Jews and the Christians are protectors one of another. And if we don't do the same thing, protect our own, there's going to be great mischief on the earth. And we're going to be, and whatnot. And that's what's happening today. Great mischief on earth. So we got to start protecting our own. We got countries like Great Britain. We spend billions of dollars in Great Britain, helping the Great Britain build itself up, buying stuff from Great Britain. And if we set some of them Muslims that live in them countries into farm, into buildings, plants, making cars and other things in Great Britain. We'll be able to take care of ourselves. We got 1.5 billion Muslims around the world. And the majority of our everything comes from non-believing factories. I went to Kuwait. I looked at the food in the Kuwait. We got Campbell's, you got the Monty, you got Kellogg's, you got all these other countries, all the other people selling stuff in our Muslim countries. And they're different size. Wherein a can of soda that size is being sold at the price of a can of soda that size. Here in this country here, we got a 12-ounce can. Over there, you got an 8-ounce can or 9-ounce can. We got to start doing something about that. We got many Muslims out of work in the United States. You see them out in the street trying in certain places like New York. You see them out trying to sell knives and dishes and socks and underwear and hats and all that kind of stuff. And the hats and all that kind of stuff that they sell belongs to everybody but a Muslim company. That's right. It comes from Jewish factories and Italian factories and every place else except Muslim. All the stuff that we use, all the stuff that we buy and sell is manufactured by other people. So we steady trying to earn money. Bismillah. For the non-believer. For the people that don't care nothing about nothing except money. Bismillah. That's me. This is what's happening. And we got to change some of that. And this is the time to start doing that. We got brothers and sisters overseas in some countries have very little help. In some countries, they need to have some water. And who's helping them in some countries? It's the Chinese. Muslims got to get involved in that. Muslims got to begin to help brothers overseas. Bring some water so they can farm. Oil is not the only thing some countries should be drilling for. Is water. Fresh water. It's getting scarce. But you need to farm. Fresh water in farming. We don't have no farmers. Everything we buy is from somebody else. So I'm talking to you straight up. We must begin to come together and serve Allah, live Islamically. And we can do that. We must live Islamically. We cannot be trying to be moderates, dressed like the people we're in, take away somebody else's Islam to be friends with other people. You can be business partners and acquaintances with people, and you don't have to look like them. You don't have to dress like them. You don't have to smell like them. You don't have to speak like them.